Field note number 40. Backup is the standard. Single point care is the risk. We always show up is not a safety system. This started out, like a lot of conversations in our industry do, as a rant, because we've all been there. Even as last night's storm bore down on the Cleveland area, it wasn't even over when my phone text messages started blowing up from people hundreds and even thousands of miles away. Why? Because their weather app on their phones were blowing up with warnings about conditions back home. Bad storms, ice, power outages, tornado warnings, driving anyway, rerouting around down trees, trying to reach a home that may or may not even be safely accessible because there's someone's precious pet on the other side of that door. And somewhere along the way, we absorb the idea that no matter what, we show up. A backup person answers, who else can go? A backup system answers, what happens when going is not safe? But here's the problem. We always show up is not a safety system. It's a promise. And like all promises, someone has to carry it when the conditions fall apart. As the text messages rolled in, I did not reply right away. I waited until the initial storm reports were available. No, I don't know the condition of your sump pump, the old tree outside your home, or even if your cat is under the bed, in the basement, or hiding in a kitchen cupboard. I understand your cameras are offline, along with 150,000 other people. I'm sorry, right now the tornado siren is going off, and I'm making the executive decision we are at a full stop for the evening. The next few hours, there is a train of intense storms transiting the area. Power out everywhere, multiple tornado spin ups, down trees and power lines, and the minutes ticking by on a slow clock on the wall. Oh, and pardon me again for going to my shelter spot as the tornado siren wails in the background. Morning will still come tomorrow. The responsibility in pet sitting is that the client owns the workplace. And with that ownership comes responsibility. Not just during normal conditions, but when conditions change. Clients are responsible for maintaining safe access, communicating changes, and having a plan in place if conditions become unsafe, even if they are on vacation halfway across the world. And we know this to be true because when something goes wrong, we are not the ones who can fix it. We can't call the plumber, schedule tree removal, file a claim with the homeowner's insurance. Those decisions and that authority remain with the client, even if they are on a mountaintop in Kathmandu. They control the property, the access, the conditions, and the information that you walk into. That makes them part of your safety system, whether anyone says it out loud or not. And when the client places the pet sitting company as the sole point of care, and those safe conditions are not maintained and not communicated, the risk doesn't disappear. It actually transfers. And it's transferring usually to the pet sitter standing outside the door. And once that transfer happens, what follows is no longer a client problem. It becomes a business decision, a liability decision, a safety decision, and a pet care decision. Let's look at this a little closer from a different perspective. For just a moment, consider your team member heading out after a storm. It was bad. Hail, lightning, high winds. Now the sky is blue. The sun is out, and they arrive at the client's home. Branches are scattered across the driveway, and a down power line is lying across it, just hidden enough in the branches to be missed. Two things can happen next. They don't see it and step out and make contact, or they see it in time and stop. But that second outcome should not depend on luck. It should depend on a safety system, a decision tree. Before we ask what the sitter should do in the moment, we need to ask why the safety system placed them there at all. Because a system that depends on someone making the right call in an uncontrolled environment has already failed upstream. Your team member or pet sitter dying in that driveway is not a hero story. It's not a dependability story. It's not a they should have been more careful story. It is your business story. A tragedy written into your business philosophy and carried out through your standard operating procedures. Disaster planning tells you how to prepare. A safety system tells you where that line is and what happens when you reach it. Your leadership is not proving that you or your company can overcome any condition. It's defining when conditions are no longer acceptable to operate in. That means saying, we do not put our team on the road in these conditions. We do not assume access is safe after severe weather. We do not proceed when hazards cannot be controlled. We execute contingency plans instead. Because pet care doesn't stop, but how it happens must change when the environment does. And here's the industry tension that I started this whole week's essay with. When conditions break down, clients don't always shift with them. They default to expectation. It's their pet's routine that gets disrupted. It's the delay that takes longer than normal to get to their pet, the task that must be completed, the medication, the potty breaks, the meals. That's normalcy bias. When conditions change and a pet owner is thousands of miles away, they're worried about their pet, and the only thing that matters is their pet, is the highest priority. And that's pressure on you and your business to communicate not just the current conditions, but what recovery is going to look like. Safety decisions cannot be made from client expectations like that. They have to be made from the conditions your business can safely work through. This isn't about pet sitters not understanding risk. This is an industry full of professionals running real businesses, making real decisions under real pressure. The tension, though, is this. We've built our identity around reliability without always defining the conditions that make reliability safe. The insurance reality is workers' compensation may cover the injury to a team member. It does not make the decision that caused it acceptable. It does not erase the impact on your team, your operations, or your business. Insurance is not a safety system. It's what responds after one fails. So, risk control. There is a living animal waiting on the other side of that door. And that does matter. But so does the person being asked to get there. If the only way care happens is by someone absorbing uncontrolled risk, then your safety system has already failed. That's pretty harsh. So every business has to answer for this. Where is the line? Not where things get a little inconvenient, not where things get a little difficult, but where risk is no longer controllable. Your reflection questions for this week. What changed and how you think about showing up after reading this? How would you now define backup in your business? As a person or as a safety system? What happens in your business when conditions make care unsafe or inaccessible? Where, if anywhere, does your business still rely on a single point of care? And have you reviewed your disaster preparedness plans for this year? Have you scheduled your annual team training yet? And communicated with your clients where exactly your safety line lives or dies? The outcome doesn't care what your plan said. If you've never tested yours all the way through to the end, that's a gap worth closing. And I'm available if you want help reviewing it. That's it for this week. Have a safe and wonderful week.